So a very common question that gets asked at the poker tables is, what's the best poker room in Vegas? And usually I think what the people mean is, what's the nicest room? Like when you're in it, what looks the cleanest and most modern? I usually answer, what's going to make for the best games? And there are two great indicators that will tell you how good the games are going to be in your poker room. The first, go into the bathroom closest to the poker room. The more urine you see on the floor, the better the poker game is going to be. The second is, look at the ceilings. The closer the ceiling is to the floor in the poker room, the lower the ceiling, the better the game. The farther the ceiling is from the floor, the worse the game. There are these poker rooms that are built more like castles. They're too clean, they're too nice. It looks very good, but it attracts people who don't want to play in places that smell like smoke and are dirty and are really old, and usually those people don't make for great games. So the more urine you see in the bathroom, the better, and the lower the ceiling. Harrah's Atlantic City, actually, I could reach up. I'm not that tall. I could reach up in parts of the poker room in Harrah's Atlantic City, and I could touch the ceiling. And that is the best poker room in Atlantic City. A lot of people are going to say Borgata. What they mean is, it looks the nicest and it's the cleanest. It doesn't make for the best games. It's not terrible. I don't dislike Borgata, but Harrah's Atlantic City is better. Those two indicators are the best, and that's what I tell people. So I didn't even say where I just was. I was on the roof of the Excalibur parking garage. But I played all night. I played Bally's first. I went to Venetian, and then I went back to Bally's. I was parked over at Bally's, so I ended there also. I played 10 hours and 4 minutes. My goal is always 10 hours a day. Over longer stretches, it usually comes out to like 8.5 or 9 hours a day. So that's a lot of what the channel is going to be. Some hours challenges. I think mostly stories. A lot goes on at the table that's hilarious. There are 2 poker channels. I watch every video, and then like another 4 or 5 I watch occasionally. I don't hear a lot of stories at all from the tables. In Vegas, not as much goes on as other cities. The East Coast was great for hilarious stories. AC and Baltimore mostly. But even Milwaukee, Oklahoma, and Council Bluffs had some really funny things happen. I remember a ton of it. I've actually been keeping track for a couple years of some other things, so I don't forget any of the details. So I think a lot of stories, a lot of personal hours challenges, and also some nicknames. Me and this other guy, we spent a summer in AC playing. We had over 100 nicknames for the regulars we would see in Atlantic City. Some of the names are just funny on their own, and some of the reasons why they have that nickname are funny also. I think in Atlantic City it was over 100. In Maryland it was like 10. In Vegas, before I moved away in 2017, it was like 30 or 40. And this time around in Vegas, we have like 2 or 3 so far. So things like that, a lot of humor that comes out of poker will be mostly what the channel is. Some dealer mistakes. I can't stand dealer mistakes, mostly because it wastes time. I don't mind that they make mistakes. It's that a lot of mistakes, just the game absolutely pauses. So I keep track. I'm watching everything at the table. I don't get nearly enough credit for all the things I catch as they're happening and how much time I save everybody. I'll tell you this one story from WinStar last year in Oklahoma. I was there when it reopened out of quarantine. It was very late. It took them 13 months to reopen. I was there April 20th when they reopened. I was there for about 50 days. This was in May. It was during the play-in games to the NBA playoffs. So the Warriors had 2 games, 2 chances to actually make the playoffs. They lost both. And I don't remember which one this was. And I'm not even into basketball, but it was like the last play of the game. So there's a hand going on at the table, and there's about to be the last play of this Warriors game. So the hand is very multi-way. It's on the flop. The first guy bet $8 with exact change. 1 red and 3 blues. Exactly 8. There was a call, there was another call, and this old guy in seat 8 raised to 16 with exact change also. 3 reds, 1 blue. So everyone has a mix of reds and blues, and everyone has exactly 4 chips. He didn't say raise that loud. The dealer didn't catch it, and this dealer was a bingo employee turned poker dealer. It took so long for WinStar to reopen. A lot of the poker dealers took other jobs nearby, and WinStar closed bingo. So they turned all their bingo employees into poker dealers and gave them basically no training. As far as I could tell, I was basically training them at the tables. So she missed it. The old guy didn't say anything that loudly. I saw the raise, and there were still 3 people to act. So I look away for about 5 seconds to watch the last play of this Warriors game. I look back at the table, and we're on the turn. And I knew that had to be a catastrophe because there was no way 3 people knew it was on them and acted already. And we're on the turn. It couldn't have possibly happened that fast. No one saw the raise, and the dealer just pulled it all in. I know what happened. I'm hoping no one says anything. So we just keep going and don't waste time. So we're on the turn. A turn card is out. The first guy to act, who had bet the flop, he doesn't know he got raised. He bets the turn. There's a call on the turn. And then a guy not in the hand, of course, at the worst possible time, says to the old guy, wait, didn't you raise on the flop? If you don't say it when it happens, just never say it. Because now this is going to be such an ordeal to go back and fix. The old guy says he raised, the dealer says she missed it, she pulled everything in. They call a floor over. A very interesting floor to call over. This guy was very lazy and very bad at being a floor. He was great at breaking games, like when it's 2 a.m. and you're 5-handed and one moron at the table says he loves playing short-handed, even though it's a lie. He doesn't know why he's saying that. This guy would just break the game, even though that's not what you're supposed to do. But it was better for everybody. He's not good with decisions like this. So when he's called over, I leave. I went out to the parking lot and just like hung out by my car for a while, knowing this was going to be a disaster. I come back. I ask the woman next to me what happened. She says, I mean, I would just say it was on the old guy to stop the dealer going to the turn, and you're just living with the mistake at this point. He put in $8 more than everybody else on the flop. She says he called it a premature burn and turn. So everybody acted on the flop, which I don't have a problem with. It's the more cumbersome fix, but I don't have a problem with this if you shuffle the turn card back in like you're supposed to. She says he had everyone act on the flop and then just said the turn card that is out there prematurely, that's the turn card. And everyone acts on that turn card, which really can't be how you fix that. But I knew it was going to be a catastrophe. So it was over by the time I came back. And that is such a bad ruling. There's like 2 okay rulings to go with. And he went with a third made up one that's just nuts. But whatever. I got no credit for, well, I didn't fix that one. I looked away for 5 seconds and missed it. And that's what happens. The very next down, I got absolutely no credit for catching that. I was in a hand, so of course I'm paying attention, and the dealer is about to premature burn and turn. I had bet and another guy hadn't acted yet. He's about to premature burn and turn. That's why they tap the table before they burn and turn. As he's tapping the table, I stop him. So he doesn't premature burn and turn. The guy acts on the turn, and the hand finishes how it's supposed to. I got absolutely no credit. The woman who told me the fix from the floor when I came back, the solution, when that dealer got up, she started talking about how bad that dealer was, that she's making mistakes like that. So I don't know, that happens. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. When the next dealer was about to make that mistake and I fixed it, when he got up, I asked her, are you going to say how bad of a dealer he is? He did the exact same thing. And she said, he didn't do anything like that. She premature burned and turned. He didn't. And I said, yeah, he did it because I stopped him. I saw him doing it. I stopped him while he was doing it. So we saved all that time and we got it fixed as it was happening. But he still was about to make that mistake. It's the exact same thing. And no, she said the first dealer was terrible, the second dealer was fine. I got absolutely no credit for catching it the second time, but when I look away for 5 seconds to watch the last play of a basketball game and catastrophe ensues, everyone complains about it. So that happens a lot. People speak up at the worst possible time, and then people don't realize other times when it's avoided. No one ever appreciates when it's avoided. They just act like it's normal. But when it happens, they go crazy. So that was quite a waste of time, but at least it was entertaining. So I have a lot of stories like that. I have a lot of dealer mistakes. I have a lot of funny conversations. I have a lot of arguments. And I think that's mostly what the channel will be about. There's a lot of humor and entertainment that comes from playing poker every day. And some other things mixed in there, like the nicknames and the hours challenges. So that's it for the first video. Twitter name, El Diesel. That's what I've been using for a long time for my poker related stuff. I made a new name for the channel. The YouTube channel name is Rice is a Spoon Food. And if I get more than like 5 people to watch these videos, one day I'll explain that. So I'll see you next time.